Hi, welcome back to the Mother You Know, the Woman You Don't. We're back again, and it's Valentine's week. So all the love is happening this week. All the love. So
Joking.
yeah, for sure. We did start out the week on a good note, though. We started with Lydia and I we stepped outside of our comfort zone because it has really gotten comfortable to do the podcast in our room. And I think even when we get together, it gets a little uncomfortable when we're all in the same room, but we're really being in a comfort zone. Even Mom, you said you felt comfortable in your little space. It feels, secluded and comfortable. But we stepped out and went to an event on Tuesday. Lydia and I did this week for an organization called Pod Houston, and it's a group that's been put together to help support podcasters in and around the Houston area. And I have to say, it was nerve-wracking for me because it's so far out of my comfort zone still to even claim that we're podcasting and that we're podcasters. And it was, it's intimidating because you don't know what you're walking into. But I have to say, it was a really great experience. And everybody was super nice.
Yeah.
And we walked away with a lot of good information and a lot of good, we know there's things we need to fix and there's things we can improve on, but there was just a lot of really great resources. So if you happen to be in the Houston area and you are wanting to podcast or interested in podcasts, that's a great resource to start with. And I think you can find them at podhouston.com. And they have a Facebook group called, I think it's Pod Houston, like an independent podcasting group or something like that. But you can find them on Facebook. So I don't know, Lydia, did you take anything away from that that we could do better?
Let's see, that we can do
or
better.
That we could do.
I think.
Or what was the best part for you? Because I know for you it was intimidating too.
It was intimidating. I mean, I have to, in my job, I have to go to things and I go to trade shows and I talk to people all the time. So I know how to not play the part, but you play the part and you're playing a role and you do all that stuff and you have to put on your brave adult face. And it was really far. It was like an hour and a half drive. And so it started raining that day, and I'm not going to lie. That's why I asked you the question about the weather. I was like, ooh, Sissy, are you watching the weather? It's really messy.
Well, it's like 13 minutes from my office. So.
Oh, yeah. You were real close to
13 miles from my office. I think it took me a little longer to get there. But
good. Yeah, so I was really kind of hoping to be like, oh, the weather's really bad. We're not going to go. But I'm glad we did go. It was really good. Like I said, Dorcas said the people were nice, very professional. It was at a Spacio facility, which is really cool, like a work sharing place. It was very nice, and it felt, like, not to say it felt safe, but you're in a part of town you don't know or whatever, and it's kind of dark outside. Yeah, it's Pearland.
Really nice.
Hopefully not a lot of bad things happen in Pearland. And so that was cool. And then I had like a gentleman who was a podcaster, and his name was William, I think, and he's like a veteran and does like business and leadership training. He did like a little keynote, and then they had a panel discussion about personal branding in your podcast. So they talked a lot about marketing. And to me, like, obviously, I think that is the biggest thing that we struggle with. And I struggle with it. I struggle with doing the marketing for this podcast to help get the word out. So they had some really good advice, because I did ask that question. And I guess there was that part of me that wanted them to say, you don't have to do marketing. Just don't worry about it. But no, they didn't. There was some contradictory things about how much to post on social media and stuff. But they gave us some really good resources. A couple of the people who were just in attendance, that one lady gave us an idea, gave us some software that she uses for AI stuff. And then the host, Mr. Oziel, is that his name?
Yeah, Oziel.
Oziel. He was very kind and talked to us afterwards and gave us some resources to check out. So we're going to be doing all that. I think it felt like when they were talking about things you should be doing, and Dorcas and I are sitting there like, oh, we do that. So it was a little bit validating that maybe we're not as behind as we thought we were in a lot of areas, because they were talking about, well, you should be doing audio and video. And we were like, we do that. We do that. We do that. Yes.
Look at her go, we do that, don't we? Yeah, we do that.
We do that. So it felt good that we weren't completely missing the mark on a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's things that we make way harder.
If you've been with us, stick with us, because it might turn out good.
Yes. We're going to figure it out
all the time. Yeah.
Yes.
I can figure this out.
Yes. So,
yeah.
But I think just, like I said, just hearing the people's stories, and there was one of the ladies there hosts a podcast called, I think it was Ask Your Daddy.
Yeah.
And it was a podcast just about fathers. And I was like, oh, we do one about mothers.
She does it with her dad.
Yeah. Super cute. So she was really good. So it was just nice to kind of see other people who have been doing it and and I guess that thing is like, I felt like at one point they were where we're at, where
Yeah.
we don't exactly know what we're doing. We kind of just jumped in and said, we're going to figure it out as we go. But I felt like it was very brave of us
Yeah.
to go out and talk to strangers.
First of all, it's very brave of me to do anything on a weeknight.
I know, right?
That's just bottom line. That took some serious courage.
Yeah. So you want to put makeup on a Tuesday? I got to put a bra on and leave the house. Oh.
Yeah, when I get off work and drive 13 more miles the opposite way from where I live. Sure,
Dude,
let me do that.
When I Wazed it and it said 90 minutes, I was like, I'm going to kill her.
Well, I'm sorry I missed all the fun, guys.
You know what it is I put this on my calendar back in November. So I put it on my calendar or whenever they first saw it, and I, put it on my written calendar all the way till February 11th. And so on the 10th, I was looking at my calendar and I flipped over to the 11th and I was like, oh, dang, that thing is tomorrow. And I just got to think, I had to really think about, and I think, Mom, it comes back to what you were saying before, is like you don't want to be required to do anything.
Right.
So I think I had to really take stock about where I was on the 10th to decide if I could do anything on the 11th. So, but I'm glad it worked. I'm glad I decided I'm whole enough. I am centered enough that I can do this. But then I had to call Lydia and go, hey, will you go with me? I don't want to go myself. Don't make me go myself.
I was like, yeah, that's fine. And then when she found out that there was an Italiano's, which is one of our
right
favorite,
across the street,
right across the street,
Pearland.
like, dinner, yes.
And I missed Italianos too.
You missed Italianos too. But, man, I literally was looking at the map and was like, their Pearland location is right across the street from this place.
So we went there and had dinner first, which was lovely.
Yeah,
and then
just tootled right over there, and it was really good. It was, I mean, I really enjoyed it. It was, like I said, really nice people, and it was great to see such a variety of different people. Like, it was just a good spread of different people and different perspectives. We'll have to see if maybe there's like a directory of who all was there, because that would be great to.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure on the Facebook group.
I followed like 3 different podcasts today from last night.
Yeah.
On there hitting, on Apple Podcasts, follow today. So I don't know what our goals for the year are. I don't think we've really quite set those, but I know for me, just in general, it was really just to try to be courageous.
Yeah.
And I know there are people out there fighting wars. I get it. Okay. But mine's to go out on a Tuesday and talk to people. First world problems, I know. So I felt like that was a good way to start off the year.
But I think it is about being brave, and it's about doing things that scare you. And, even just starting the podcast, 10 months ago at this point?
Yeah. Probably.
And how much more, and not confident like we are super confident, but we're more confident than we were 10 months ago.
When you start out at a negative 72 and you're at, negative 5, that's better.
It is better. And I think it's just being, and I can't remember what you and I were talking about last night when we were sitting there waiting, but it was something about, like I said, I'm not a feminist by any means of the word. I think men totally have a place and men are awesome, and I need a man. I need my man. I like having my man around. But sometimes as women, I think that we're taught to be a little bit more timid. We're taught to be, apologize for a lot of things. And I think that sometimes we have to make ourselves be brave and make ourselves take that leap and make ourselves do those things. And I don't want to do that. I'm completely content in my bubble of sitting on the couch and watching crime documentaries and eating chicken nuggets. I mean, it makes me completely happy. And so,
well, I'm not happy there. I'm not happy to stay in my cocoon.
I am.
See, I don't feel happy, but I want out of the norm. I
want out of my cocoon.
Yeah.
Look. Don't. No,
it's okay.
I want to be a butterfly and break out of my cocoon.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to learn.
I want to
learn. We purposefully put off recording this because we were usually recorded on Mondays, and it's Wednesday now, and it's going to come out tomorrow. So sorry if it's poorly edited tomorrow, but we put it off because I told her I've been in such a lull since the holidays where I feel like we just need to, let's go do this and see if it kind of re-energized. And for me, it did.
It did, yeah.
It was like, okay, I know what I want to do. I want to get back focused. I want to do this. So I think it was that little bit too, to say, because I really do enjoy doing this and I want to keep doing it. So
I
we
do
just got to
too.
figure out how to make it better and hope people tag along with us and tolerate our incompetence.
And I feel like one of the things, and I can't remember who said it last night, but they were talking about like essentially the evolution of people's podcasts, like they evolve over time. And I feel like that's something too that we need to kind of look at, because we've talked about things like, so far we've only had women guests on, and I think that there is validity in male perspectives of their mothers and things like that, especially ones who, if the mothers are not around anymore. And I think being open to that evolution, I think we were had a cookie cutter idea of what we wanted it to be, mostly based on because it was your idea, kind of based on what that was in. And I think that we were very stringent in that in the beginning, that has to be this. But I think that, and I apologize, I'm not trying to speak for you guys and what's in your head, but I feel like we're more open now to something different, not different in the mid of this, but just like however this evolves, it evolves, and however the story goes.
Yeah. I think it should evolve. And there are just so many good stories to tell and so many perspectives to listen to, to hear. So yeah, I agree. I think that I'm excited about what it could evolve into still. They were talking about something about like when you hit 50, which for us, my goal was to do 52 straight weeks without a break, which we missed a little break because of Christmas. I didn't anticipate needing that week of Christmas because I think we did need it to not have to think about or put out a podcast that week, but or put out an episode. But they were talking about that 50 mark, and I was thinking, okay, 52 is where we can really look back and go, okay. Like I said, we were, like we were a 4 at best on episode 10, but at episode 50, we're total 8. We're getting there. So I'm looking forward to that, to look back and see where we are in a couple of months.
I feel we're going to be more comfortable. I think we get more and more comfortable, talking, hearing ourselves, seeing ourselves, and being vulnerable to tell the stories and talk about the things that are uncomfortable. Because I know for myself, in some episodes, I have a tendency to, even though I do talk a lot, is to not give that vulnerable side, to not say the things that would get to the truth about it. And they talked last night about essentially putting out good content and being relatable to people. And I think that's really important for us to be relatable and to humble ourselves and just be okay being vulnerable and talking about things that we don't want to talk about. And sometimes I make the excuse in my head. I'm like, well, we're just very blessed. We didn't have terrible childhoods. Our parents weren't alcoholics, and they didn't beat us, and we didn't have these things, and so our stories just aren't that interesting.
Thanks, Mom. It's her mom for making our life boring.
For not beating us. We appreciate it.
But
it's not that
I didn't want to a time or two. It's not that Daddy didn't hold me back, for sure. But yeah. I didn't want to beat you. But yeah, I think we started out talking about all those things that were so dear to our hearts, like our mothers and our aunts and our uncles, or our family and our close friends and all that. And so to keep going, I think we got to grow and step out of just that one little arena, I think, uncover some really important issues.
Issues like Valentine's Day.
Love, amor.
Which, let me say, for us to even talk about this is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. We just needed a topic for this week.
I don't but I mean, it's an actual, I mean, it's not, other than I'm not a gushy love person. Like, I'm not a flowers and roses.
You got that from your mother.
Somebody spends that much money on flowers, and that's the first thing I think is, I could have done something else with that $150, sir.
Yeah.
So spend that. So I guess when we think about, like, for me, for Valentine's Day, I'm a realist. Like, I don't think this day, like, I'm going to work on Friday. We're not going out on Friday because I don't want to fight the crowd on Friday.
Yeah.
We're going to go to Gilhooly's on Saturday and hang out, but I'm not going anywhere on Friday, and we're not exchanging gifts. So
no cards? You didn't go get a mushy card?
No.
Yeah. Be mine.
Maybe a love fax. Maybe I'll send him a love fax.
text him.
or
I
love,
love post-it for
or love
Jagger.
post-it,
Yeah.
or I love
Texting some of them little balloons that float up.
Yes, I'll
Or
text some little
hearts,
hearts that
yeah.
float.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so I think we are realistic Valentine's people, I think. So
Well,
I don't
for
know.
us, for us where we're at, of course, we're with our retired church members and a lot of little widows. So we're going to take our widows to dinner on Friday evening, and any of the couples that want to. So there's going to be like 30 people going out to the restaurant and just having a dinner together. And we're going to take care of the widow and widowers. So that's kind of special for our little group.
Y'all been doing that for years, haven't y'all?
Yeah, we've done it ever since we've been here.
Yeah.
So, and that's special. And then we gave candy to all the ladies on Sunday morning.
Nice.
It was nice. And Danny said, "Don't you want roses?" No, don't give me a long stem rose. I'm just if you want to give me something, give me a package of
seeds,
flower seeds or something.
I was about to say,
but don't waste your money on that.
Yeah.
You're just looking
that's
at
what I always say about the flower garden, because we have a vegetable garden outside, and a couple of years ago I told Dwayne I would love to have just a flower garden, and he expanded our garden to have just like a little round place where we've the last couple of years just planted zinnias, and tried my hand at dahlias, and
they fussy.
They were fussy.
They picky. I love them.
I ordered some special seeds, and let me say, special seeds didn't come up. So I will say the Walmart seeds were just fine.
Yes.
So I'll be back at Walmart zinnias this year, because we do the haphazard garden where you just toss them out there and let them grow.
Happens.
So I would much rather have my flower garden than some $50 roses or $100 roses every year.
Yeah, so. Myself.
Yeah,
my zinnias. I just want a big old bed of zinnias. That's they're fun to watch.
Yeah,
So and a bunch of other things, but
Lydia, you're newly married. Are you big old plans?
We already did ours because Jared is working on Friday, and I can admit that because I said I was single for so long, and waiting for him to get here and waiting for God to deliver him at my doorstep. There is that part of me that does want the mushy, sentimental stuff, because I craved it so much whenever I was single and praying like, God, like I don't like being single. I never had a date on Valentine's Day. I never had a date on New Year's. I never had anybody to give me Christmas presents. So I do crave that stuff. We've been married. April will be 3 years. So there's still a part of me that wants that. But also too, the reality is he's working on Friday.
Yeah.
And we have 1 weekend a month where he's not working, I'm not working, we don't have the girls. And so we did our Valentine's 2 weeks ago when he was not working. And that was my love language. We went thrifting. He took me thrift store shopping, and he took me to an estate sale, and we ran around and we did that all day long. And then we went and had a nice steak dinner. And then we came home and watched a movie together. And it was a perfect quality time, like love language thing that we did.
Yeah.
And I made a comment about getting something to eat on Friday. And he's like, we already did our Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I was like, I still got to eat, and he's on nights. So it was kind of moot because, he's going to be sleeping all day. But I still crave that because I never had it. Like I just never got any of that. So, but I don't want flowers. I mean, if he got them for me, I'd think it was sweet or whatever. But I said, he ran me around to multiple thrift stores from Beaumont to Baytown, and I said, well, there's an estate sale. Do you want to go? I was like, yeah. So we went and did that, and we were exhausted. And then we went and had some really good dinner, and it was just lovely. And because like his love language is quality time and mine is acts of service. And I feel like him running me around town to go to all these thrift stores, that was a great act of service because I don't want to drive anywhere. So that was lovely. And that was just perfect because, so when Friday comes, I'm going to eat dinner by myself and he'll be at work. And I was showing, there's kind of a meme going around like social media and stuff. And it says that my husband or my boyfriend hasn't asked me to be his Valentine's Day. He hasn't asked me to be my Valentine. He hasn't asked me to be his Valentine yet. And he probably thinks it's because like he hasn't done it because we live together and that's just rude.
Yeah.
And I showed them today and he was like, I was going to ask you on Saturday. I was like, why Saturday? He's like, because I'm going to be sleeping on Friday and it's Saturday or whatever. I was like, that's fine. Just ask me on Saturday. Just,
to be his Valentine.
To be his Valentine.
That's sweet.
Yeah. So, he better.
Yeah. See, I find that, I think for me, it's more in the every day, like the little stuff every day.
Yeah,
I guess that's why Valentine's doesn't faze me, or I don't, whatever. I mean, I've got, Dwayne gets up every day and makes my coffee. Like he puts it in the frother, puts it in my cup, puts my protein powder in there, and it's sitting on the end of the bar when I get ready, because I get out of bed after him because I don't like to get out of bed. So it's every single day. To me, that counts way more than,
it does.
You don't have to do anything.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. You get up every single day before me and make my coffee with protein powder and, whatever fluff and booze stuff I have to put in my coffee. He fixes it every day. So to me, that's the kind of thing that's, hands down, you don't have to do anything on Friday.
And I feel like part of that is because of Jared's wonky work schedule. Let's say because we have 1 weekend a month. I just said that we have 1 weekend a month. Like I crave that time, and that just happened to fall. Like that'll be our Valentine's. But I do crave that time with him, and I crave that because like we see each other every day. But like if he's on days, he has to get up at 3 a.m. So when he gets home after 6, there's time for dinner, maybe an episode of Big Bang Theory, and then he's off to bed, kind of thing. And so when he's on nights, he's getting home at 6 a.m. and he's sleeping till 3 when he leaves at 3:30. And so there's just not a lot of that quality time, I guess. And so I think part of that is why I kind of was craving this Valentine's together, sweet little day of love. But no, I agree. I think it's those small things that, because I think we'll get there. We'll get to that point where it's not important to me.
I mean, it can be important to you.
Yeah. Well,
and it
is. I mean, with 53 years in, he's still the one. He's still the one, And so we don't, I don't think we've ever been big card givers, but he's still the first to say, I love you, or all that. He's got a bigger romantic streak than I do, but he's still here.
Yeah.
My love language is I'm still here. How many years does it take? 44, 54? Because we're in it for 53. So
he does love you very much.
Yes, he does.
Darling. I don't know if you remember this. There was one time we were doing something at y'all's house, and I can't remember what it was, but there's that photograph of you, like your high school graduation photograph, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And like we're going through a box or something. This is when y'all were moving. Maybe it was when y'all were moving out of the house in North Shore, getting ready up for retirement or whatever. And I had pulled that picture out, and I was just kind of looking at it, and he kind of comes up behind me, looks, and his comment to me was, God, she's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And that kind of just,
right.
that stuck with
eyes.
me. Yeah. It stuck with me that he, after all these years, that he still just thinks you're just the most beautiful. And you are. You are the most beautiful.
And he still says that. So
yeah. Bless him.
That's my Valentine.
Mm.
A lot. Not just in February, but yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think is the key to keeping, prioritizing your marriage and prioritizing your relationship through all those years, Mom? Like, is there
being willing to say I'm sorry?
Survival and just not, divorce. Yeah. And I always say, you take divorce off the table, but murder's totally on the table still.
100%, yeah.
But because that's so severe, it makes you think. You really have to think about it, and then once you think about it, then it's premeditated, and it becomes a real problem.
And I got my Dateline interview
then
outfit.
You go to jail. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Then you go.
So there's a lot more at risk for the murder, so you leave that on the table. But
I think you just have to decide. It's not optional. For me, it's never been optional. I've never, ever once in 53 years threatened to leave or get a divorce. I've never did that at all. But, being willing to say I'm sorry. I don't always do. Because there's times I'm thinking I'm not saying I'm sorry first. And I can't say we hadn't gone to bed mad because
that's just unrealistic. I don't know.
That's unrealistic. There's plenty of times, but I think the Lord's in the middle, and then we do
keeping y'all apart so you don't kill each other.
Yeah.
Jesus,
I mean, there was days that we wouldn't talk or whatever. It's just we've got it down to maybe 5 or 10 minutes. We can
Yeah.
stay mad and not talk. Okay. So that comes after 53 years of marriage. But you just, sometimes you just bare knuckle it and say, I ain't going. I'm not leaving,
Yeah.
So, and learn to say, I'm sorry. And the couple that we rented our first little apartment from, Dr. Eugene T. Moore, he was the Dean of Admissions in Marshall. And he told us early, he says, if y'all will get up and make your bed together and look at each other across the bed and make your bed and just tell your wife you love her and all that. And this is the truth. I mean, we still get up and make the bed together. I mean, and that,
Yeah.
I have never left the house without my bed being made. Rarely. But still, we get up in the morning and look at each other and make the bed. So we accomplish something every single day. So I don't know if that's a secret to other people's marriage.
Yeah.
And I don't know if
we
that's...
make the bed together a lot.
Yeah.
When we're here, like most of the time, if we're getting up and going to work at 5:30 in the morning, I'm not thinking
Yeah.
about making my bed. But I will say, he makes it when he gets home at 9.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's usually made every day.
Yeah.
Except for the pillows. We have the pillow discussion every time we make the bed. The extra pillows. On the weekdays, he does not put the pillows on the bed. They sit in the
Look,
corner.
I
And
do
only on the
not.
weekends.
Hmm.
When I'm home, he'll go, oh God, it's Pillow Friday, or it's the weekend, we got to put the pillows on.
Oh, that's
But
my brother-in-law
Monday
so
through
much.
Thursday, the
Look,
pillows do not go on the bed. They stay on the floor. He's not fooling with the pillows, the extra floofy
I do
pillows.
not
That's
do the
hilarious.
pillows any longer.
Yeah.
It's like,
He doesn't
oh
either.
my goodness.
He
Yeah.
hates them.
Yeah.
He hates them. He acts like this. Let's see. There's 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 2 big Euro pillows. Oh no, 6, 7. 2 decorative pillows, and then 3 of the little ones. And he acts like that is just like you're murdering
Torture.
him. You're just asking
Yes.
him to climb Mount Everest to put those
Yeah.
pillows. I mean, it's literally like, oh God, it's Pillow Friday. Yes, bro, it's Pillow Friday.
Well, that's better than being at odds about how they go on the bed. Because for me, I angle mine, and his has to be straight, linear in the line, and I do that. And so it's just not worth the headache with that. I just don't put pillows, other than the pillows you sleep on, and then the ones with the pillow shams on it that match your bedspread. But any of those other little miscellaneous ones, no.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. So that's a secret right there.
Make your bed, but don't worry about the pillows.
Yeah, don't get rid of the pillows. Don't torture him with them, okay?
Oh no, I think it's funny.
Oh, it is
totally
funny.
buying new pillows.
Yeah, that's funny.
Totally always having pillows. Well, what are some things that y'all do? See, I know what, like, I was just sitting here thinking, I don't know what I do for Dwayne, because he does way more stuff for me than I do for him. And I guess I get that from you, so it's your fault.
Oh, okay.
But what are some little things, like the everyday things? Like, like I said, he's always making my coffee. We do make the bed together, or he makes it. But what are some little things that either Dad does for you or you do for Dad? And the same thing with Lydia and Jared. What are the kind of day-to-day things that make, if you didn't have a Valentine's, make it worth it?
Well, I always say thank you, Grandma, because she taught her boys how to pick up after themselves and clean up after themselves, and he still does. I mean, we just don't get cluttered here, because we just have learned to, instead of putting things down, we put them away. And so, and we're both slowing down. We're both achy, and when we get up, we're moaning and groaning. So if he's getting up and he's moaning and groaning, it's like, here, take my dishes with you, okay? Or vice versa, So we still, if I'm going to the kitchen, I'm going to carry his stuff with me, and vice versa. And it's nothing for him to stand there and wash the dishes and put them up immediately, just because that's what we do. And I don't know. We've got to where we have to carry, it's a teamwork to carry a case of water into the house nowadays. I kid you not. It
stresses me out, when y'all do that.
Really. And so, together we could carry the large case. And now we've just had to size down to the small case where it takes both of us to carry that into the house.
I told him, just leave it in the truck and get some at a time and take them inside. Just leave the big old 27 case in the truck.
Right.
Could you imagine
Right?
the two of them trying to do that? Daddy with a walker
Yeah.
Look,
or a cane.
this is going to be the funniest thing when we both go down trying to carry in a case of 24
It's
bottles
really
of water.
Yeah, it's not going to be
just
funny.
like, well,
Funny's not what it's going to be.
and for us, it's just teamwork on everything nowadays.
It won't be funny, but this is the woman who laughed about having a stroke, so
Yeah.
it may be a little bit funny.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, girl.
So,
I've been
Lydia, what are
taking my
some things that
medicine.
you do for Jared? I mean, are we just the big jerks who don't do things?
No, I think that we have. Well, and I told Mom this when y'all were here this past weekend. You know that like he used to joke like before we get married, like when he would leave in the morning at like 3, like I would get up and do all this stuff for him, like again. And then the minute we got married, I was like, "No, baby," and I'd roll over and go back to sleep when he gets up. But when he is on nights, we definitely have a routine. Like I try. We have this kind of joke that he leaves at 3:30, and so I try not to have meetings at 3:30 so I can see him off. And so like I'll make his coffee and get that ready to help him pack his lunch for the night. And then like I just kind of I go outside and he's perfectly capable of getting in the car, but I just like go with him and he gets in the car and we'll stand there and talk for a second and I'll give him a kiss goodbye and like I'll stand up on the running boards on the truck and like stand there and hug him, and kind of just whatever. He's perfectly capable of going to the car by himself. He knows where it is. That's kind of our little routine. I kind of help him get his lunch and his coffee and all that to go on his night shift. And then rarely do I get up with him in the morning at 3:00 is really early in the morning. And so I don't do that unless I'm just already up. But I think it's just that little thing. And then I like to have dinner ready when he gets home because we don't, we live out in the middle of nowhere. We don't have a lot of options. So we rarely go out to eat. And I like doing that. Makes me feel I don't know, that makes me feel like a good wife, because I work at home. I never leave the house. And so I can track him on Life 360 and time out dinner so that he has time to get home, take a shower, and then we have dinner together. And that's something I try and do a lot. I'm not the best cook. I try my best and he may not get gourmet meals every night, but I want him to come home and have dinner on the table. I think for me, that's something that I enjoy doing for him. But with that being said, if I was to say, "Hey, are you good with cereal or a sandwich tonight?" And he's like, "Absolutely." I mean, y'all know him. He's the most unpicky, chill person on the planet. So, yeah, I think it's just things like that. And then, like for me, I don't know. I feel like the things that he does for me are more, they're more emotional. I guess it's because I don't know. I don't drink coffee, so I don't have to make my coffee. Our schedules are so wonky. But I think that the things that he lets me the way that he's there for me emotionally is not something that I've ever experienced before with past relationships. And he is so even keeled that it helps with my crazy, I guess, if that makes any kind of sense of what I'm trying to say. That I mean, I'm trying to think of like, what little physical things he does for me. It's not that I'm sure he does, but like I said, when I think about him, I think about he lets me be vulnerable with him. He lets me be crazy. He lets me be all the things in my head, like when I'm stressing out about the stuff going on with our IVF journey or when I'm stressed out about this or this or this. He just lets me be my broken self without judgment, without anything. He'll just hug me and let me be that. And I think that is what I need more than I need him to make me do the physical stuff, I mean, does that make sense? What I'm trying to say?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of where.
So you don't need a dozen roses.
No, I don't. Like if he's gotten me flowers for my birthday, and I have enjoyed it again because
he just needs somebody to tolerate crazy. That's all.
Yeah, that's it.
So
And not go crazy himself.
Yeah, like when I have a meltdown, like I said, and we've talked a little bit about like our journey to have a family. It is not a fun time. It is stressful. It is expensive. It's all these things. And whenever I have a moment about it, he's always like, "Babe, we're gonna figure it out. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay." And that's what I need to hear because even though I sometimes say I need him to be as crazy as I am, we both know that's not true. We can't both go off the deep end, emotionally at least. So it's just nice to have somebody who just lets me, if I need to cry, he lets me cry. And he doesn't judge me. He doesn't, tell me to stop crying. He just lets me cry. He lets me do all those things because, again, I think part of that's just his demeanor. And
I think his personality. He's just calm, I think.
He's so cool.
Yeah, he is.
Like, why aren't you freaking out? Like, I'm freaking out. So, with stuff like that, I'm trying to think. I know he does stuff. I will say that the best, I guess maybe if I had to pick like a physical thing, I would say that I realized kind of in getting this that he can't read my mind. And I think that's something that you don't know when you're a kid. Like when you're young, you're just like, you're mad and your boyfriend doesn't understand why. It's because he didn't realize, he couldn't read your mind. And so I kind of had to make that decision very early that Jared can't read my mind. So if there's something that I need, something that I want, something that I need him to do for me, I will just say it. And that was a hard lesson to learn because I didn't do that when I was younger in relationships. You get mad at your boyfriend for doing something that he didn't know he was doing, and then you're just mad or whatever. And I think just being comfortable enough to tell him, I need this or I need that or whatever, whether it's physical, emotional, whatever. But like I kind of always joke, like if I need him to do something, like I'm 5'3". If I need something off the top shelf, no matter what he's doing, he's going to stop what he's doing. Like if he's playing video games to relax after work or whatever, if I need him to come do this, he stops what he's doing and does it for me. I never have to.
That's because he's the tallest one in the house.
It is. He is the tallest one. He's super tall, but it's things like that I appreciate that, like if I need something to happen, I'm not waiting around for him because he's like, yeah, he just stops what he's doing. He comes to it and then he goes back to what he's doing. And I think it's a simple thing, but I appreciate that because if I'm cooking and I need the thing on the top that I can't get without getting a freaking ladder, he just stops and does it. And to me, those are the things that make me happy is that I don't have to sit there and go, babe, I need this, but he'll also say that I'm impatient. Like if I need him to do something and he's not there, that he's come home more than once and I'm standing on the counter, like the kitchen counter. And he's like, you couldn't wait 5 minutes. I'm like, but I needed it now. So that's happened a couple of times where I'm standing on the top of it happened at the old house. I was standing on the island, or not the island, but I was standing on the bar trying to do something. He's like, what are you doing? So I don't know.
Well, I have to say, I think Dwayne does way more for me nowadays than I do for him.
Because you're chief lada, that's why.
Because, we spent so many years like at home. I stayed at home for so many years and ran the kids and read him and, just did the things that now that he retired 2 years ago, and he does work a part-time job. So he goes for about 5 hours a day. But he now does all the laundry. I have yet to do laundry in a year and a half, 2 years. Like the other day he said, hey, will you switch something over? I couldn't remember how to start the dryer. So I was like, I come out and I told him, I was like, I need a refresher course. Like this is the problem. I've done laundry for 20 something years and all of a sudden I can't run the washer or dryer because I can't remember how to put it on the setting. I haven't done washing, drying. I haven't done hardly anything. It feels like everything that gets done, he's doing these days. So I do appreciate that and feel like that's way better than one day of roses. So I will give him a big shout out to the fact that I don't have to make coffee and I don't have to do laundry anymore. So, and he does it. The thing about Dwayne is he is hyper scheduled. So he will not be late to anything. He will be there on time and everything's on a schedule. I can't tell you our dirty clothes don't get backed up. Once a week, he does laundry, wash, dries, folds it, hangs it in my closet. Like I just constantly have clean underwear. I've turned into a dude where I'm just like, I don't know where these come from. They just keep showing up. So,
love it.
So I am super grateful for that. And I will say the other thing about him that I really, really appreciate is that he's always willing to go and do things that I want to do. Like typical girly things, like if I said, hey, I want to go to Home Goods, he's always down for a good Home Goods. He likes Home Goods as much as I do. We love to go thrift and garage selling. And last week we went to Glen Rose. We went up Saturday, got a hotel and went to church with Blake and Kayla because Heidi was baptized. So we drove to Glen Rose and then came back on Sunday. So we decided to leave early Saturday morning and we Googled every thrift store between Houston and Glen Rose. And we probably stopped at 6 different ones. We just had the best.
We met the dream time for me, girl.
It was because it was, all older ladies in these little towns. We sat and talked. Some woman asked me if I knew how to price out, like she had 5 or 6 Disney watches. And she goes, honey, do you know how to figure out the price on these? I go, I don't know. Let's Google search them. So I'm sitting there with this 80-year-old woman teaching her how to do Google image search. And we probably spent 30 minutes in that store. We didn't end up buying anything, but it taught her how to use Google image search. And I just thought, this is the best day ever.
It's a good day.
And then, yeah, it was good. We just stopped at just tons of little stores and looked at junk and antiques and, everything that I saw that I wanted. Butter pats. I found 8 butter pats.
Yeah, you sent me that
Super
picture.
psyched
Yeah.
about that. And then those little baby salt wells, those little individual salt. Yeah, it's just like it's literally a little bitty glass thing like this big that you put at a place setting with salt in them. Like, bought those.
That.
Never balked at that. And then, I told you I was going into my new turquoise era where I am about to become that woman that's just draped in turquoise all the time. And we found a really beautiful bracelet in one of them. So that was actually my Valentine's and birthday gift. He bought
send
that
me a
for
picture
me.
then.
Oh, okay. Well,
I didn't get a picture.
Oh,
I didn't get
I'm
a
not
picture.
wearing it today. I was wearing it, but
I got a picture of the butter plats. I didn't get a picture
I
of the
didn't get a
bracelet.
picture of the butter plats. Or
I'll
a little
send you
salt
pictures.
thing.
I think it's because I'm on butter plat lookout everywhere. That's one of the things I
Yeah.
look for is butter plats for my sister.
Butter
Yeah.
pat.
Butter
P-A-T,
pats.
butter pat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I found my first little 8. I found 8 different ones. But anyway, yeah, so it just was not, he just is always willing to, and he just never balks at anything,
Yeah.
like I'm like, I want butter pats. And he's like, whatever,
Yeah.
I want salt wells. I'm going to
Yeah.
get these.
Jared-
Whatever.
Yeah. Jared has a joke about, because there's a thing on the internet that's like women who say, like, I don't understand. The quote is like, I don't understand these women who say that their husband tells them no. Because I could literally bring home a whale, and my husband's response would be, well, this is a little inconvenient, but I'm going to go build a tank.
Go build
I'm going to go build the paddock for this whale.
Yeah,
and
that's usually Dwayne when I say, like,
Jared too,
I want, we should do a garden. Okay, raised beds.
Next thing you know, there's a garden.
And then we should have a rose garden. Okay, do you want it rocked off? So that, and it's not, I don't say that in a way that implies that he's a pushover, because he's in no way a pushover. And the funny thing is when he tells me actually no, it's because I'm being real dumb. It's real unrealistic. Or he feels some type of way. I think I mentioned something about moving our bed in our room, like off the wall, and he was absolutely no. I was like, but what does it matter? It's just, and he's like, no. Okay. There's some reason I can't move my bed.
Yeah. You mean put the bed out in the middle of the floor?
No, I was talking about like moving it in between the windows or on the other bed.
On a different wall.
It's a different wall.
Like having to go around the bed. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But it's, usually simple stuff like
I
the hard stuff he always does. But
I want a direct line to the bathroom. Or maybe go around the bed.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so I will say that I'm even with Valentine's Day coming up.
Yeah.
It's not. I hope that people get to celebrate how they want to. If they want big, gestures of love, I hope you get that.
Yes.
For me, I just
chocolate
hope
candy, red roses. Yeah.
I do want to give another shout out real quick.
Trip to the thrift store.
Yeah.
I do want to give another shout out real quick, because I was sitting here thinking, I know he does stuff for me, and I don't want people to think that he doesn't. One of my favorite things that he does for me is he knows that I hate coming home to a dirty house, and I travel so much for my job that, like, if things that bother me don't bother him, so like a dish in the sink overnight is not going to drive him insane. Like I'd be laying there thinking about it every night. And so kind of the joke is, whenever I'm away for work, I don't need to know how he lives. That's how he jokes. He's like, you don't need to know how I live.
Yeah.
But whenever I come home from a trip, this house is spotless. Yeah. He will clean, he will mop, he will sweep, he will clean everything. And I never have to worry about knowing how he lives.
Yeah.
Because he knows how important that is to me. Like when we go on family vacation, we're going to clean this house before we leave. Because the last thing I want to do is worry about or clean, if we've been gone for a week. And he does that every time I go on a work trip. And it gets me so giddy, because I know I'm coming home to a clean house that smells good, where the floors are mopped and everything is just done and the dishes are put up and everything is just perfect. And I think that that's one of those things that he doesn't care about that. It's not important to him, but he knows it's important to me. So he just does that.
Yeah.
And it makes me so happy. I'm PMSing really hard. It makes me want to cry thinking about coming home from a work trip and the house being clean, because he's a good guy. And,
Well, don't, because we're not him, and I don't want to hear you cry.
Yeah.
I told you, it's PMS. It's really bad. I was telling Mom, guys, y'all listen, I was telling Mom that I was watching a clip earlier of Toy Story 3 when they're about to be put in the incinerator and they're clutching onto each other, and I was bawling my eyes out. And I'm like, this is not okay. This is a bad day. So yeah, it's but I want to say too that I love your husband. My brother-in-law is
I love your husband.
Amazing.
I love both your husbands.
Yeah, I love my brother, and he's a good fella. And I remember one time we were up at Mom and Dad's. We were at the lake house, and y'all had the travel trailer up there. And, you know, back then, it was before Dwayne had his hip replacements. I hope that's not a HIPAA violation. But you were standing on the ladder, and you were cleaning, like, the top of the trailer or the awning or something. And you were doing it. Like, you were doing the hard work. And I'm not about that life. And he made a comment, and he was saying something like, he's like, your sister, he's like, she's a hard worker. And he was just so, like, that you got up there and you were bleaching and cleaning and doing all that stuff and just physically just all over there, you know, you just didn't quit. And he was just kind of in awe of you for that. Was. So
yes, he has been.
Yeah, he's always been in awe of you.
I'm gonna go give him a big old smooch.
You should.
Love Valentine's
Give me one for
Day.
me too.
Here's your Valentine's Day gift.
Yep.
Well, I hope
give me one for me. So let me say, I think y'all have been really blessed by God, because I think you both have two great husbands.
Hardworking husbands.
Yeah. And I think you found someone similar to your daddy. And also, that's for sure.
And you got a good husband too. We got a good
husband.
So we're really lucky.
A hardworking husband,
Yes.
And are happy to celebrate our men on Valentine's Day.
Yes.
So I hope that everybody out there, y'all have a wonderful Valentine's, whatever that looks like. And if you know, are single and are struggling, I hope you find some kind of peace and solace in Galentine's Day, or hope you get yourself a good coffee, whatever you need to do to take care of yourself. And
you're so responsible, because I was like, go have a martini.
Or martini, whatever it
that lemon
takes
drop.
to even if you have to do self-love, because that's important. We just hope that you guys have a great Valentine's, and hope that you celebrate with the ones you love, and hope somebody makes your coffee, y'all.
Yeah. That's true. And I hope you know that God loves you. Yeah. Let me just throw that in. You know, that God loves you.
You're wonderfully and beautifully made.
Yes.
Wonderfully and beautifully made.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Okay. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of The Mother You Know, The Woman You Don't, special Valentine's Day Love Edition. Be sure to, be sure to like us on all the social medias. Give us a nice little rating, hopefully on your podcast, on Spotify, on Apple iTunes, on Amazon Podcast, whatever it's called. Leave us a ranking. That'll help us out a lot. And we will be back next week with another episode. See ya.
Bye-bye.